Hey traders. I think I figured out why I've had audio problems. Hopefully I've fixed it. So we'll see what happens here. I'm starting with the bond market here. That's the highest futures contracts that are hitting this morning. And I do have to give a little warning here. We got the uh, uh, Supreme Court making a decision on Trump and his tariffs. We've already got companies like Costco coming out suing the federal government for reimbursement already before the announcement is even made. And I see that potentially having a major negative impact on the bond markets, uh, as yields will likely pop considerably if the tariffs get knocked down. So be very mindful of that going forward here. I know Trump's wanting to do an interest rate cut, but if the Supreme Court comes in here, does this uh, does away with this big revenue source for the federal government. We got this big tax cut to justify. This was all the tax cut was justified by the tariffs coming in, tariff revenue coming in. Now all of a sudden, supposedly that might be have to be all refunded to everybody who sues the federal government. Um, this could be quite negative for the bond markets and interest rates. Interest rates could do completely opposite. They're trying to go into a rate loosening cycle at the same point in time that the tariffs get thrown out the door, uh, and even worse, possibly refunded. Um, we could very well be visiting down here at these 2025 lows in relatively short order uh, on this bond market, and be pushing 5% again on the 2 year and stuff. So be very mindful of that situation developing. Okay, I'm gonna start the S's. The all important S&Ps. Okay, go over down here on the 2 hour. So that's a big risk we got to look at here, guys. So we got a dealer cluster zone, and this 6850 is really important. We're currently trading right below that this morning, 6850. Uh, there's a lot of open interest at the 6850 area, so we have to be very mindful of that. The dealer cluster zone's right above that. That's where you found a lot of selling pressure every time we got above that, and we're right into that, back testing it for a second time, or a third, well, maybe a third time. Let me look here real quick. A third time. This is a third touch of this. Uh, you know, uh, Yesterday with that second touch, you would have thought coming out of this uptrend, the second touch, you would have thought there would have been more fuel in the tank to the downside, which we didn't get. We're currently opening above last Friday's anchored VWAP and Monday's anchored VWAP. So we're in the bullish side of trend in potential price discovery to the upside to be opening the session here. So be very mindful of a few of those developments. So if we were to start losing, let's see what was the low there, 68.33, 68.33. So if we were to start losing 68.33, maybe that opens the door to the downside trading. But right now, you have to stick with what's happening. So uh, I would not even think about trying to do much downside uh, 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 shopping unless we were starting to actively look below 68.33. So far this morning, that is not happening. Okay. Just be very mindful. So basically, once you get above 68.50, that puts us into positive gamma. Uh, Currently, we're having trouble getting back above that. So let's be very mindful of that. Uh, so let's just, in the back of our minds here. We do have auto sales coming out this morning as well. Similar situation here on the NQs. Okay, we're right into that 25,500 gamma wall. This one here is acting stronger. We're right smack dab into that right now. Yeah, well, maybe not. So we're awful close there. Okay, but at any rate, we're close. 15 points. That's a tick. Away from that gamma wall, possibly going into positive gamma early on this morning. Similar situation here. This is Monday's anchored VWAP. This is Friday's anchored VWAP. So that puts us on a weekly price discovery to break out new highs on a week-on-week basis. So be very mindful of that. So above that purple uh, puts us in that price discovery range to break out. So be very mindful of that. Okay. Similar situation. Uh, I would want to be accepting prices below uh, 25,390. 25,390. We want to be seeing a lot of accumulation below 25,390 to be more bearish to the market. And right now we're seeing in the pre-market, we're seeing accumulation above that. So be very mindful of that. I think a lot of shorts are going to get squeezed, especially once we start going into the positive gamma situation. So be very mindful of that today. It's all looking good. I was hoping for a little bit deeper pullback today, but doesn't look like we're getting it. 2,500 is our all important here for the Russell. Okay. And between 2,500 and 2,550, that's the dealer clusters long. Found a lot of selling pressure between these two zones. This thing here, it has faded further away from the positive gamma. And remember that the Russell is more interest rate sensitive, so if, you know, with what's going on in the bond market, it does seem to be having a little bit greater impact on the Russell. So be very mindful of that. So you really got to keep your bond market up and keep a really close eye on your bonds while you're trying to trade your Russell. Okay, Russell 2000. And but yeah, it's showing a little bit greater weakness because of what's going on in the bond markets. Lord, and hopefully we don't hear the Supreme Court coming out with a decision, anytime soon. But we know that it could happen at any time. So, I mean, how long can you sit on the case has been made? I mean, they've been sitting on it for a couple weeks now already after the case was made. So, you know, you think that the news could be breaking at any time. So be very mindful of that. Uh, I know they're saying, "Oh, well, Trump's got plenty of other ways to 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 deal with his tariffs." I just think that they instituted these tariffs on bad law. They based it off of bad law, and I think the Supreme Court's having a very difficult to justify, uh, based on how they did it, and it's going to create a whole horde of volatility if they make the decision I think they're about to make. And obviously, a lot of these companies are starting to think the Supreme Court's going to be on their side because they're already trying to sue the federal government. So to be very mindful of that. There could be a big payout going for companies like Costco, CSCO. There could be a big uh, payout on the way for companies like this. So be very mindful of that. I don't know if that's even a good setup. I didn't look real quick. Yeah, they could be looking at a very healthy payout. But if they fail, I would see companies like this uh, having a really bad day. If they come in here and they uphold the tariffs, companies like this really, I'd say a lot of the retailers like Kohl's, Costco, Walmart, a lot of these retailers would all be having a very bad week or whatever if Supreme Court comes in and were to uphold the tariffs. But like I said, I think it's quite slippery law for them to uphold it based on how that they tried to justify it. So I don't know. We'll see what happens here. Okay. Other things going on here. Some things. A lot of people have been looking at Meta for a breakout. I am too. And if we go down here on the 30-minute. Okay, yeah, here we go. So there's a trend line right here. I'm using Gain Fans, and we're currently this morning we are opening above that. So that's what I was looking for. So if we were to get a back test of, I would love a back test of Friday's Anchored View app. So anywhere here in the 642 area, I would actually start accumulating. If we can get back down to 642 this morning, I would probably be looking to accumulate some Meta near the open. So for a potential breakout, And if this thing gets going here, this would be targeting up and around the 660. Okay, if this thing were to get going. But yeah, if we could get a quick pullback down here, like I said, down down to 642. This really is one of the top watches that I've got going on this morning. This thing setting up to take off because we did cross this off. I noticed yesterday morning a lot of people they were trying to take medicine alongside. I think it was still early because that was our first test. Uh, we first tested it Friday, then we tested it again yesterday, so we got a double test. This is our triple test of that trend line. A lot of times, the third time is the charm, so to speak. I would be really watching that this morning for the take off and go on Meta. Another one that they've been looking at was Baba. This one here is not looking quite as healthy to me, but we did get a back test, so we broke out, which we broke out above this game fan before. We had broken out of this before, but this does look like we are building a higher low that we're breaking out on. So if we could actually get a back test into this area around awful close here to the 160.50 area, 161, 160.50 area, a back test of this area, I might actually be inclined to risk a little bit to the long side here on Alibaba. Uh, if we can see uh, this post-market low would have to hold. If we were to start breaking the post-market low, then I would be getting out of Dodge. Okay, so basically, the closer to the post-market low, then I'd be interested. But I would not want it to be breaking that low to stay in the trade. Okay, so that's a couple things that I'm looking at here. That was a couple important things. We do have, like I said, auto sales. So I think Tesla's going to be a big mover today. Heads up on that. We are crossing over a gain fan before the numbers hit 732. I don't know can't remember what time it was, but we are crossing out above a gain fan. So basically, our line in the sand right here, guys, 428 60, 428.60. If we were to start losing it right after the day news comes out, then I would probably be looking to the short side. Uh, uh, so we want to really make sure that 428.60 holds right after that news drops and hits the tape. So that's definitely something we want to keep on watch here on Tesla. I personally think Tesla sales are probably not doing very well, but we'll see what happens. We know that brokerage balances are, cash balances are at record lows. We know savings rates are way down right now across the country. So uh, just be very mindful of that. And we know, heck, uh, we can get you could get fuel here in Indiana for 270 a gallon right now. I mean, that is great. And then I get my groceries at Kroger, and we got our reward points and stuff. So I have been averaging gasoline prices since April, $1.85 a gallon with my rewards points. Yeah, and so be very mindful of that. There's been a lot of things that's been driving down fuel prices. So it doesn't to me doesn't justify buying a highly depreciable assets like the caliber of Tesla. Whenever you can get a much longer lasting combustion engine. Uh, but who do I know? It just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Uh, you know, the EV market doesn't make a lot of sense to me because of the lifespan of a Tesla and those things with the batteries wearing out and stuff and the expense of the batteries. It just doesn't justify it in the back of my mind. But whatever. Um, okay, guys. And remember, guys, with this whole AI thing, I'm seeing reports here by 2027 that you're going to see your electric bills and your gas bills double in price from the demand from all of this additional uh, infrastructure need for this AI build out. And nobody's even talking about all these companies who are buying into these AI data centers. Nobody's even mentioning that now's the time to be putting legislation for them to pay a higher premium for these uh, 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 electricity and gas. They should be paying a higher premium for this infrastructure. instead of making us and Main Street have to pay for it. And that never happens. Us and Main Street will be paying the price for all these billionaires and all these big companies laying off a big section of the American workforce with automated services. So just be very mindful of that. How we're going to have to pay for us to lose our jobs. So be very careful. I mean, yeah, everybody's all gung ho about the AI, yeah, but yeah, that's the reality of how it's going to happen. Okay. Well, okay, that's enough of my rant. Okay, guys. As far as pre-market, let me see if I 1 second here. It does look like Bitcoin is stabilizing a little bit this morning, so that's good. It wasn't looking good yesterday. That big rejection there, wow, that was ugly. So be very mindful of that. This is a support zone. We're trying to build a higher low, which we may effectively have done that as of yesterday. Got that higher low in here on Bitcoin. So let's definitely keep that on watch going forward here. Obviously, all those are the top pre-market volumes on my pre-market scan. We do have Micron on here. Looks like earnings are coming up. Don't see it on my for this week. We do have uh, some AI names reporting this week too. I think one of them reported yesterday. I'm gonna have to go look. Uh, that work? No. Circle. Okay. Amazon. Oh yeah, Amazon. Forgot about that. Amazon started to break out Monday. So we got this fib fan here. We started to break out on Amazon. We have continuation now on liftoff. I think could very well be up here at the 238 area before the week's out here on Amazon. So be very mindful on that. But possibly higher. This is our main trend. Ultimately heading to the 245 area. But that could even happen before the end of the week. Come think about it. So definitely keep that one on watch. This was one of my top watches yesterday that I called out, so be very mindful of that. That puts us back into this major rejection area. So yeah, coming up here into the 238 area is probably a high odds likelihood. So be very mindful of that. Uh, ultimately moving up into this area up here. Uh, so be that's just a few little things that I'd be, and especially if these lawsuits are going, Amazon's another one that could actually, well, I don't know, they're just a vendor, uh, they're just a platform. I don't know if they could justify suing the federal government, whereas Costco actually buys the materials. Um, so be very much. Oh, we had Apple yesterday. Apple was on a tear yesterday as well. Uh, we are at right here into supply, so be very mindful of that. We do have a lot of open interest all the way up to 290, so there is a chance we are in positive gamma right now. There is a chance that above 280 we're in positive gamma. We could be actually going all the way to 290 though, so we have to definitely be mindful of that. A move, potentially. We got a lot of open interest all the way up into the 290 area. Uh, I don't think you're going to see much at all in Apple today, but you never know. Like I said, when you're in positive gamma, that stuff can really eat you alive if you try to wait too long. Okay, thanks a lot.